Here's your receipt. Cross. Receipt. Unshackled. 28, 714, unshackled. $1, 22, 216, 338. Here.
Rolecki? Massimani?
Here.
AMS on. Tedford?
Here.
Package room electric gate. Gronowski?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Reception building. Graham, you got the A's vest tonight. S. James?
Here.
Garage. BC? Gone over. Bruce?
Here.
Correspondence and B vest for closing. Hardy?
Here.
Chapel. Domberg?
Here.
Recreation and A booth for closing. Anybody I missed? Call out.
That's right.
Floor of the administration building. You're going towards the back of towards A block. You're coming to 3 electric gates. The gates, you'll see there's an officer in between them. This is for security reasons. He'll open one gate at a time and allow us to pass through just one gate and one gate only. Now, in the event that something were to happen to the officer, we do have another way that we can control the gates from another point. The gate is opening, they'll let us through, and then they'll lock us in this one area. Now we are approaching the second of the 2 security gates. This is also one of the gates that is electrically operated. Now the gate behind us is closed, this gate will open, and we'll be heading towards us. Now this is where the inmates come down for interviews with the parole office, service unit, chaplains, deputy superintendent, going up the steps into A block. You notice this gate is manually operated and the officer is the other side of the gate. Now from here forward is where the inmates are housed. You have 4 large blocks housing approximately 480 inmates of A block. And if you notice, as soon as we go through this gate, this next gate will open and allow us to go up towards the recreation areas, which there are 4 yards. Each block has their own respective yard. We are now in the corridor heading towards Times Square. The next gates we come to will be the Times Square area or the heart of the institution. We are now approximately in the corridor and approximately the spot where 5 Company was standing at the start of the trouble on September 9th. We are now coming into view of the Times Square area, and these are the gates that did not hold and allowed our trouble on September 9th. If you'll notice, the gates now have channel iron and are welded. One gate is welded shut, leaving just the one gate open, which previous to the riot, both gates would swing open. Now one gate swings open and they are anchored securely to the floor and welded at the top. Okay?
Good. Very good. Too short. Good.
That was a good hit. Good run last night.
Uh-huh.
You were roughing it, Dave.
Ain't nothing but a big dummy.
Trying to get on base more, huh?
Yeah.
Stop trying to hit them home
Yeah,
runs.
man, the big base runner last night.
That's what I was trying to do right now. I was trying to go with the ball.
I don't need this one.
Get it on the ground and get it on the base more times.
They put the hit and run on me one time. They put the hit and run on me one time. So what?
Jim got out.
Woo! That's styling.
Whoa. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all ain't gonna make TV cameras that smile.
Where's your black glasses, man? Huh? Put the damn sunglasses on for a minute. Look at the camera.
Can't do that. Yeah, you bring it in. Bring it in.
Good to see you. Dog running around it. Run that on. Run that on.
Run them on.
York.
Hey. Run them on. That on. Don't do that to yourself.
I gotta eat that, baby.
You glad you got them in time, huh? You glad you got the first team in time, huh?
Charlie. When will you see each other home?
We gotta wait for not around the neck. Yeah, what?
That light came around with my lens.
Same here, Joe.
See you again, Dan.
Yeah, the time you let yourself show.
About 10 minutes, huh?
I don't, from the side of the directly, just, I know it's off and easy, that's it, from the swing. That's it.
Tell that old police to smile, he's on camera. Hey, Wilbur, he's standing up yet? Oh, there.
Do you have any objections or something you're working on with them?
Yeah, let me down there in a minute, Supervisor. You wanted to. Don't get the phone. You know, you know my name out.
Some of the men, the inmates we've spoken to, just a few, said, you know, I really can't say fully what I want to say because I'm coming up for parole or something like that. And this, you know, I said, don't, but I'm going to ask you, is parole, how is parole used? Is this one of the methods of discipline that you didn't mention before?
No, I wouldn't say so. I would say that a man coming before the parole board, certainly they consider his record, his institutional record, and we are trying to change behavior patterns. And such if a man was in for an assault upon the street, and then in the time he was within the institution, if he was found to assault like 2 or 3 different other inmates, and maybe an officer too, I would certainly say that this probably indicates some type of pattern in this man's behavior. And I'm sure the parole board would consider that if you would feel it that. But to use it as a blackmail type of thing, no, I would say not.
What are the types of men you get here? I mean, the types of crimes, the range of crimes, the seriousness of the crime. Can you give us an indication of the inmate population?
Well, we are the receiving prison for the Western District of New York State. So any man, if he be 21 years or older, and is convicted of a felony, is sent to this institution. Now, as a result of the orientation process and his interviews with the service unit personnel at this institution, this man could be recommended for one of the camp programs, or maybe over to Albion, where they have the work release and various school programs working out of there, this type of thing. But as far as receiving men, we would run, the crimes would run the whole gamut, from the most minimal felony to murder, the maximum.
Now, in terms of the atmosphere here, I mean, the relation with guards and inmates, and just the general feel of the place, how do you feel this is going here?
Well, I like to think it's improving, and I certainly hope it is. I can say I've been here years since April, a year ago April, and I really think, of course, when I first got here, that was April of '72, the riot, or disturbance, and it had been September of '71. There was a tremendous amount of tension still within the institution, and I think time itself, as well as the various new type of programs and things that are being carried out, various reforms that have been mandated by our Albany department, have done a lot to reduce the tensions within the institution. And yet, at the same time, I would be a fool to say that they are totally no tension with this institution. I think living in an institution such as this is an unnatural situation, and I think you can always have tension, and it's remarkable how quickly a tension can build up out of one incident happening. Tensions can rise high very quickly.
What are the kind of, I don't know, general trouble spots here, without, being very balanced about it? I mean, is it, I don't know, drugs, or is it inmate violence, or whatever?
Well, maybe we could run through the gamut of it too. Drugs, we continually hear that there are inmates using drugs within our institution. We make every effort to check these things out, to avoid drugs coming into our institution. As recently as yesterday, a woman was arrested here for passing some drugs to an inmate. We make every effort to avoid this thing because we don't want them within our institution. This is a problem of sorts. I recently read where homosexuality is a great problem in prisons. You have homosexuals in here, no doubt about it. At one time, homosexuals were isolated in one area. Now we try to make them a part of the regular inmate population. If they're caught in an activity of this type, then they receive a misbehavior report, they go in front of the adjustment committee, and action is taken in their cases. I think the biggest thing that we have, though, is probably just our inmate-officer relationship. If we can maintain a good relationship here, we reduce tensions to a great degree. And this is the thing we strive to maintain, a better relationship between the officer, the inmate, the administration, the whole staff.
Without blowing this up or anything out of proportion, in terms of there's some men in the B block who are in a sense kept there for safety.
I think you got the wrong block. You must mean B. B. 19 company? Does he mean?
B, only one down B. Why are those men kept separate in a sense?
What happens here, now you have varying type personalities coming into this institution. Those men that are over there on 19 company are there at their own request. They sign a slip requesting to go in there, and at any time they want out of there, they can sign a slip. And I'm mandated to get them out of there within 2 weeks of receiving this slip. So there's nobody over there that we're forcing to be there, but some of them are a little weaker in personality, and they feel that in the inmate population, they get scared or fearful of other inmates. And for this reason, they're kept over there. Strictly a voluntary thing.
All right, this is the final thing. I had asked you about this article before, but this is Governor Rockefeller's group, known as the Select Committee on Correctional Institutions.
Right.
Now, this is a New York Times thing of June 12, 1973. It says the prison system in general and Attica in particular continue to be plagued, and I'm quoting here, by a lack of budget money, legislative indifference, poor morale, and incidents of violence. This again is June 73, so it's a very recent thing. Well, what is how do you react to this kind of thing that you read in the paper, I would say, quite
Right.
frequently?
I'd just like to see that. You know, I don't mind seeing anything printed as long as it's the truth. And I think that when they wrote that article right there, and they did indicate, I think Attica in particular, was a little bit biased. And I thought they were talking about the whole statewide system as a whole. Now, you could see, what they say, inmate morale, period. I don't...
Morale and incidents of violence.
We have had some incidents of violence. I don't think any more than any other institution where most recent one I can think of was an inmate threw a jar at the bars and an officer got cut as a result of it. This happens. This inmate, we are turning this case over to the state police for investigation to be brought before a grand jury, and hopefully that this man will be charged with assault. And that's the way we've taken care of a matter of that type. I don't think that we have a lot of violence. I don't even think we have a lot of violence between our inmate population. I don't find a tremendous amount of fights. Of course, when you got 1,200 men living in close proximity, such as they are here, you do get some fights between inmates. But I thought when they wrote this article that they were, again, applying it to the overall state-wide system. Money, sure, we would always like money, more money. We'd like to improve our programs here. Right at the present time, we're probably very weak in the amount of vocational training that we can offer to inmates within this institution. Yet, I know on the drawing boards is a new vocational training building. But we would like to have that last week, and it's probably a couple years away before we will have that. As you've seen out and back, we have a new gymnasium going up, and that was built out of funds. There's $1 million going into that gymnasium to provide better recreation for our inmate population within this institution.
Just something I thought of when we photographed in the hall the men going from, into the mass rooms and work
Right.
and so on. There is talking and a kind of relaxed attitude. Is there a before or after on this, or what is the policy on this kind of thing?
Well, we still ask that our men line up in lines, and they may not be the best lines in the world, but they do kind of similarly line up. We say they can talk while going back and forth in formation, but no loud yelling. That's what every once in a while you may hear an officer say, hold on the noise, or something of that type. But we do allow talking, yes. And again, we're not operating under an old silent system or lockstep or anything like that, no. But we still do like to have some formation out of it.
It's showing in the star,
Well, I was speaking to my brother, and he said it isn't, so I don't know. You hear one thing, then you hear another, so you never tell what's true. I'll see when I get out there what it'll be.
Yeah.
So tell me how long you've been a barber, how much you get for it, how'd you learn it, and so forth.
Well, I come in here, I have did a bit before, and I started out learning them, which I didn't learn too much. When I come back this time, I started as a welder and a grinder. But I was promoted to a barber because that's what I wanted to train for when I left. When I go back out in society, I wanted to be a barber.
How much do you make a day as a barber?
As a barber at the present time, I make 85 cents. When I get to be my top wedges, which I won't get because I'm fitting to go home, I'm going on parole July 11th. But my top wedges would be 90 cents.
90 cents a day?
Yeah.
When you say that?
Yeah, 90 cents a day would be my top wedges.
How long have you been in, and what did you get in for, and so forth?
I've been in 15 months. and then for possession of narcotics.
You got to go out on patrol and serve the full time, you know what I mean?
Would I rather go out on parole?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that I can make adjustments better by being under supervision.
But were you here during any of the troubles last September?
No. Well, let's see. I've been here 10 months, and I'm in here for burglary. And, well, I go to my 10-month board in July. Quite. I'd much prefer it. I'd much rather be deferred on parole, because I think it'd be an easier bid than in here. Because, well, you got a little more movement than you have in here. So it makes things, you know, you can fend for yourself better out there than if you tried in here. You can work better, get things situated. So,
What's the main problem? I mean, it's facetious, but what is the main problem with being in here, and is it so difficult or what? Or just being in is this hard or what?
it's not that it's difficult, it's just that I don't think anybody really prefers being locked up to being free. So, that's why I prefer to be on parole.
Gentlemen have never been on parole before.
Well, this is my second bid, and I was on parole before. I was out 1 year and 20 days, so maybe I can make it all the time this time. I will.
I was locked in on the flats on 25 Company. That's where that's where I locked, and that was facing the riot area through the whole situation. And so I saw the troopers come in. Yeah. I saw the assault. I witnessed the assault. I witnessed the troopers coming in on top of the catwalks, and because there was a vacant yard. B yard was in front of my window, but then beyond B yard was a catwalk, and then D yard was beyond that. So I witnessed the troopers coming in, the assault, and so you could, the hostages on top of the catwalks, and all the action because I was right there looking. There was no turning away. The mood? Well, I think the mood just before the assault was that they were hoping that Rockefeller would come in, and I think they were holding out hope for him. Just from all I could tell was from the from the hearsay or from the hollering from the yard. That's really what they were hoping. But and I think they were surprised that they were coming in firing. I don't think they expected that at all. Because that just was. Well, the assault was brutal, that was for sure. It was quick and sudden, and the major part of it was over in 15 minutes, but it was continued on for about an hour and a half. There was sporadic firing, and I witnessed one of the hostages right in front of me get killed right in front of me. There was no doubt about it. He got actually shot twice. Once he got shot and fell backwards, and he lay there for momentarily, and then he got up to grab the pipe in front of him to pull himself off into the yard directly in front of me, and he got it again.
Hold on a second. How long have they been?
I have been with him this coming July the 10th. So, okay.
Garbage up, another stomach here. Hey, you know what I got you? I got you 4 cans of tuna, right? Mayonnaise, I got you 2 loaves of bread, I got you 2 boxes of donuts, I got you coffee, I got you creamer, except for mine.
I know you didn't buy no coffee.
No, I talked to myself.
I got
you just up for a month this Saturday. My bag, I'm carrying the bag down the gallery, right?
He got more for us than he got for himself. What did it come out, 1990?
1990?
Okay. All right.
What you supposed to be? Don't look like hot dogs to me. Must have a new cook or something. Look at him. Red hot patty. Yeah, red hot patty. Potatoes aren't even done. Yeah, yeah.
Benji, I heard you had a good ball game last night. How's that for conversation? You had a good ball game. Any hits? Any hits yourself?
Struck out at night.
No kidding. You did? Twice. You gonna write home to your wife about that? How about you, Heavy?
Struck out and fired out. I didn't play. Too much prejudice on the team.
Too much what?
Too much prejudice on the team.
John got a home run and a triple with a couple guys on base. He do? Good triple? Yeah. Is that Kind John?
Yeah. I think it was only about 4 or 5 hits on our side. I only got one myself.
How did Taylor pitch? Good?
Yeah, real good.
How many strikeouts did he have?
13. Chino had one
He's all
too.
right. Best in the house, you know? No doubt about that.
Who else? 4 or 5 hits. No. Yeah, he sat next to me in the bench.
Hey, I like those new suits, too. Benji, the new suits were beautiful. Beautiful. That's what they should have had last year, you know?
Like the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah? Make a look classy.
Yeah. You on the team? You about 3 years. About 3 years. Those are nice beautiful. Those are really nice beautiful. Something morale. I think no. Go ahead. No, it's about. No, you get. That's all. There's that plastic. Don't be fat lip. So you fat lip. That's all. There we go. I'm glad we ain't got them. You know, them flies around here though. Yeah. Well, that's out. Hey, those are major league uniforms. Well, that's just what they wear. Summer nylon or Orline. I forget what it is. Probably Orline. Nice. I like it. One thing I don't like about it is the hats. It should have black and white hats. You got the blue hats. You know, you got the pinstripe. Yeah. The white, red, white, and blue. They should have the black and white hats instead of blue hats. Oh yeah. Makes it, makes it look nice. Contrast the colors. Too much one color and it goes the whole. Right. Right. Well, that's Sign him up for Hollywood. Go ahead. Sign him up. That's what he wants. He's still mad at the game. I'm not we're standing around talking to the guys.
Well, when I get out, it'll be a different effect, right? $65.
So you're getting a better suit.
Because the suits you're getting now, right, when you get out, they're so thin. Right. Well, paper late, no bell. No, that's right. You're in the bus, right, going to New York, right? It takes about 8 hours, right? When you get there, what do you think that suit's gonna look like? All wrinkled.
That's all, man.
Come out the bus, you're tired, right? You're tired, right? Now, how about the guys, like, you know, you have a lot of guys in here, right? Got no family, right? They gotta go live in a hotel. That time of night, they gotta go to a hotel, tired, or go to Y, right? If they haven't saved no money, they got $65 in their pockets, what are you gonna do?
You gotta save money what you make here. Right. Then you go to the buy. You can't spend it all because you're gonna walk out broke.
You know, some guys don't think that way, you know, they want to spend it, you know, spend big bucks, you know?
Like $20 every week, you're gonna get candy.
Right. But that's it, man, you know?
Walk out $65, and that's it.
But I think they should do it the same way, like, you know, federal joints got it. You know, where a guy be making a salary, like, you know, $60, $50 a month, right? Okay, now, you spend half of it, they put half of it away for you, right? And when you get out, you got no money in your account.
Some federal joints too, they got, if you're a carpenter or like a plumber, when you get out, they buy you, they got a federal fund that buys you the tools for your trade, and when you get out, you got the tools and equipment to go to work. Here, they won't even guarantee a job here. If you get a job $4 an hour, they won't approve it. Because if you get out, you're making too much money. They'll approve like $2, $2.25, and that's it. They don't want you to make no money because they figure you got a lot of money, you don't need it. Because most of the guys live at home. But what do they get? They save, right? Say they want to get married or something. Then they got something they save, they're not getting married broke. They haven't got to go to a bank and take a loan out and pay all that interest and like that. They ain't got nothing, you know? $65, that's it.
I feel the guys that suffer the most are the guys that have nobody out there, right? They're depending, you know, on a job out there, right? Because you got to get a job first to get out, right?
You can't get out
without a job, right? You get a job, you get out, right? Now, it's not a job of your choice, not really, because, you know, right, you got to pick your job, you go out there, right? Maybe it's not the right salary that they want, right? They go out there with $65 in their pocket, right? And they start working. If they don't like the job, they can't quit because it's a violation. Am I right?
Yeah. You can quit your job if you got another job. Like you can quit on a Friday, but you better be in work Monday morning. Because if you're not working, he violates it. Not saying he will. He might be, you know, halfway decent guy, and you might not. He'll give you a couple weeks to work. But you got to go to work. If you don't work, you're done. You're coming back to the institution. That's it.
Well, you know, that's one reason I work in a metal shop. I want to take a trade. You know, at least I'm learning something. You know, you know, a lot of guys that want reporter work, man. That's out for me, man. I want to learn something. You know, when I get out, I have, you know, something I can, you know, look forward for. You know.
Take a look at all the cabinets you're making, right? Yeah. All the money that they make, right, on these cabinets, and we make 55 cents a day or 60 cents a day, right? That's not enough money for this work. Not really. Because they've got to be making a profit off this, or else they wouldn't be making it. They got to buy all this metal. Where does all the profit go?
You know what it is? They're building a gym now.
You got federal money for that. Yeah. The government give money for that. Yeah. There's going to be money left over from that. It ain't going to cost $1 million to build that gym. Not really. You know.
Well, you got your own trade to go out to, right? Yeah. You're a truck driver.
Yeah,
oh, you know, you got it made. You know, I got my
top too. My father. You know, I work for him. You know.
Well, you got his own business, right?
Yeah, he works for a Ford garage. You know, but a lot of guys ain't got that. They got nothing.
They got fortune to get out of it.
Tell me, in the metal shop, how much money do you make a day or a week? Just break it down for us.
When you first come in here, you make 40 cents a day. They just got a 15-cent raise. Before it was a quarter, right? A quarter a day. And then you got to be here 90 days. And then you get, I think it's between a nickel and a dime. It's up to your foreman, which would be, you know, Mr. Miller. And it's up to him. But the tops you can make is $1. They got labor grade 1, 2, and 3.
How do you spend that money? I mean, how do you get the money and how do you spend it? How does it work?
They give us credit in our account. We have accounts here, right?
$20 every 2 weeks. Every time you go to a bat, you spend $20. You got something, you spend $20 in food. And
Yeah, you can split it up with your cigarette, stuff like that.
What do you buy in the commissary? What do you usually get? What do you need?
Nothing cookable. I mean, you're not allowed to have no type of a stove. They say because the amp, your fuse in the back of your cell isn't powerful enough, but they just don't want nothing with heat. Tuna fish, soup, puddings, canned spam, canned treat, bread, cakes, pie. Nothing, snacks. That's all it is.
Why do you have to buy snacks here? Why do you need snacks?
Because the meal you're having that day might not agree with you. You might not like it. If you don't eat that, if you haven't got nothing in your cell, and you don't eat in the mess hall, you don't eat.
Did you select to come into the metal shop? Did you select?
Well, I'm trying to learn a trade, you know. And, well, they do pay.
Spot welder, I'd never be a spot welder. But there's no other vocational training here. You have nothing here. The only shop here is actually metal shop. They just opened the auto school, but they've only got a few people in it, you know.
You seem to be very relaxed. Is this the general pace of things, or what?
Especially in this shop here, everything is, feel relaxed, we all know each other, we all locked in the same company, It's about the best company there is in the institution, And I came here because I want to learn a trade myself, It's the best paying job, And I like it,
Fellas involved in the troubles that went on in September? None.
I wasn't
here.
What are you here for, and how long are you in?
I'm here.
Expect to get out on parole, or what? What is your situation? What do you think about that?
On parole. I'm hoping to get out on a parole. I go to board in August. So I think I'll get a break. I hope so. My first time in the trouble at all. So I'm looking for a break. I hope so.
I go to board in November. And that's what they call a classification board, and at that time I'll get hit. I don't know with what. The most I can do is 32 months. I don't want to do it, depends on it.
Well, I'm hoping to make parole. I think it depends a lot on me, how I, act in prison, I hope to make it. In 75, I go to parole board in 75, March of 75.
Been in so far?
3 years now. I had a minimum set on me by the judge, 4 to 12. And I hope to, make it then, I think it depends a lot on how, acting in prison. You ready? You got a bad attitude, they won't let you go. Right. If you got no key blocks, you got the eggs. Stay out of trouble.
And you're going to end up bald if you want to say what you want.
Just a little bit off the side.
Yeah. How you want it now? How you want it? This is it.
Well, taper the back off a little bit. Even up these sideburns to the ear up here.
This is not your first haircut,
Not really.
I would say this must be the first haircut by a professional barber, huh?
Yeah, that's the last one. Louis cut the hair last time. So, I want to get the back cut then. Because it was starting to shag in the back, so I had to leave it off. You haven't been on the yard doing your exercises, you still got the gut there.
Yeah. You know how that goes. Took me how long to get it?
I wouldn't know.
It's quite a a rich gut, you know.
Yep. Trying those leg lifts, your stomach gets in the way there.
Yeah.
Gotta get rid of it.